Hi everyone, so this video is a guide on how to use the CBT editor version 2.0. So once you've opened the software, you'll be brought down to the sign up page. So on my end, I have the software on my start menu. Here's the software. On your own end, you might have it on your desktop or any other directory on your computer, but for me, I have the software on my start menu. So I've clicked on it and I am brought down to this page. So I am meant to sign up. I am meant to create an account. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to put in a name here. So let's say John, and then last name is Ugo. You understand? So my password, make sure you remember your password is super important. So I'm going to put in my password now. So I said remember your password. So security question. So this security question, you need to remember what you chose. So right now, I'm going to say, in what city were you born? So I'm going to pick this. The first one, answer, I'll say, let's say Lagos. That's where I was born. So we say, in what city were you born? So make sure you know your question. Make sure you know the question you picked and also the answer you put in there, because with this security question, you're going to be able to reset your password in case you forget it. So make sure you remember what you put there. So I recommend you pick something you are familiar with, something simple, something you know well. So picking something simple there, you get. So once you've done that, I think you can sign up. So click on the sign up button. So let's sign up. So right now we are meant to log in. So you have to remember your password from the sign up form. Remember your password from there. So I'm going to put in my password now. So let's do that. So now as we are logged in, right now. So right now we can start adding our courses, start setting the exam questions. So let's see what is in the settings. Come over to settings. Let's see. So you can see the settings over here. You can see your details. You can see your name. You can decide to like change. You can decide to change your information from here. You get. So remember, you can decide to update your name from here. You get. You can put in a new password. Before you put in the new password, you must have put in your old password. You get. Before you can change your password, you must put in your old password first. And you can see we have our security question. You can decide to update what you chose during your sign up. You get. So and once you've done all that, you can make sure you click on save to save your changes. So let's see what we have in my courses. Okay, go back to settings, go down to system. Okay, don't need to go there. So that's what we have for now. So right here now, we want to add courses, right? So let's add our courses. On this page now, I can come in here and add my exams. I can start in my exams from here. So first of all, you need to add the course you are adding these exams to. So let's create the course first. So click on the plus icon. So right there, I can simply just put in English language. Let's work with English language. And then the code should be English 101. So let's save. So let's see what we have now. So we already have our course created. So click on this course you just made now. Click on it. So I'm on it now. So right here now I can start adding my exam questions under the English language course. You understand? I can start in my exam questions under this particular course here. You get. So we have several methods of adding these questions. You can see we have this is a manual approach, this first tab, which is exams. We also have the generator. This is more automated. This is automated. For you to generate questions automatically using the CBT generator, you need to go down to the NOC at the digital library where you can connect to the server's AI engine of this software. You understand? So if you try that, let's try it now. So come over here. You can see it's not, you can't do that because we don't have the email and the password to do that. So go down to the NOC at the digital library, and at that point be able to generate questions using the CBTQ generator. It is much more automated and easier to use. You get. So that's it. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to use this manual approach. You get. So click on new exam. So right now, let's add year. So let's say 2023 semester. This is a drop down. So picking either first or second. So second. We are currently in the second semester. So your question count, I'm going to explain what this question count stands for. So let's assume you intended to set 20 questions per student. Let's assume you want each student to answer 20 questions. Your question count is meant to be greater than the questions you want your student to answer. So let's assume you want your student to answer 20 questions. You are meant to set at least 20 questions for this exam. So right now I'm going to just make it 25. Understand? So I want the student to answer 20 questions. Out of this 25 I'm going to set. That's what this question count means. I hope you understood. Okay, now this title field, now just put in English there, and then save. So let's see. Okay, now we already have this exam created. So click on the exam, click on it. Okay, now so right now we can now add question under this exam, right? So now I'll do that right away. So let's click on add question. So this is the editor to add your questions again. So we just come over here and say, I can just ask a question. So question 1 goes thus. I can just say, who is the richest man in the world? Who is the richest man in the world? Okay, who is the richest man in the world? So right now this is the question, and this A, B, C, D you see here are the options you are meant to set. So come over there and say Larry Page has option 1. Number 2, I can just put in there, let's say Mark Zuckerberg. Question C, let's say Elon Musk. D, let's say Bill Gates. And then the last one, we can simply put in Jeff Bezos. Okay, I think it's X. Okay, now you can save now. So before you save, you have to pick in the correct answer among these options. So whichever one you tick is the correct answer, whichever one you tick. So I'm going to tick Elon Musk. So this is the correct answer for this question. So if the student pick something else, the student has failed the question. So just click save. So let's see how it looks like now. So you can see now this question now, you can see who is the richest man in the world. These are the options, and Elon Musk is the correct one. You get this is the correct option. So you can add as many questions like this as possible. Let's assume you made a spelling mistake over here or anywhere here. You can come over here, click on the edit button, and you can just come over here and edit the mistake you made. You understand? So that's how you do. You can come over here and edit and save back, and it's going to reflect. So I'm going to remove this question mark now. So remove it and it's going to save. You can see it's gone. So let's add that back. Okay, save now. So let's right now we're going to add another question. Before we proceed, I want to show you something. So let's click on add. So I want to show you that you can add multiple. Let me show you. You can add multiple questions without having to close this question tab. Understand? So let's do it right now. So I'm going to pause the video and add some questions. So add a question right now. So right now, I already have a question here. It says which of this is an African country. So you pick up the option. Morocco is the answer here. So if I click on save, so I can add as much question as I want to add without closing this tab. You understand? So just take note of that. You can add as much question as you want without having to close this tab. So click on the plus button. This time around, I'm going to add a table. You understand? So there are some questions that might require you to draw a table. So let's do that right away. Okay, so you can see now we have this bold icon, the italics. We have these different icons on the screen that helps to beautify our text, right? So right now I want to add a table. So you can, this is a table section here. Just click on the drop down and then select insert table. Let's assume you have a question that requires a table. So as I said before, click on this drop down, then select insert table. So click on the insert table, and you can see right now we have a table created for us, right? So now I'm going to put in this question now. So let's do that right away. So the heading here says statements. So the second column we have true/false, and the last column there we have reason. So it's just a simple question I saw. Okay, now so once you've done this now, so these are simply the headings, right? So the question comes here now. So you can just say Jane was happy about the competition. Jane was happy about the outcome of the competition. Okay, now so we can decide to stretch this. You can see it's looking just too long. Let's just elongate this. You can see it's looking better. Okay, so that's done. So on this second column we can just say true, and then this reason is going to be the, so now we have the statement Jane was happy about the competition, true or false, true, and then the reason you have here now is going to be the options now. So now the reason why was Jane happy about the outcome of the competition, why was she happy, so you can put in some options. Okay, so to save time I decided to come out here and add the options, right? So the question goes thus: Jane was happy about the outcome of the competition, so this says true. So the reasons now, so the reasons are simply the options we have here. So now we have these options here. The first one says because she wanted the prize so much. Second one says the competition was fair to everyone because she didn't want Sam to win. And then we have all of the above and none of the above. So right now I can just come over here and pick your answer, right? So that's that. So you can also this, if you want, let's assume you want to add more rows to this, more rows, you can come over here, click on this on any of the rows, or you can click on this current row, come here, and then you need to say insert row, click on this drop down. I want to insert a row after this first row we have. You can just come over here, you then click over, this is the row, then click insert after, and let's do that. Let's see, you can see now we already have the rows after this. I did it twice. You can see now we have 2 more rows after. Let's assume you want to add a column after this, or after this true and false, whichever way you want it. So you can come over here, click over here again, so look for the insert column, this is the insert column. Then you can decide to add before or after. Let's assume I want to add after reason. Just come over here, click on this reason, column, come here, and then insert column, and then that should be after, and we have it just after it. You can extend, you can drag, and you can drag it to make it look good instant to your taste, you get. So that's how you do it. That is how you do it. So I'm going to remove this column, so click again on it, come over here, and then you're going to say delete column, and it's gone, you understand? So that's how you're able to insert tables. So now I can save this. Let's see. So now I think we have, you can see now we have these questions here. We have this question, okay, and okay, that's that. We can decide to edit this thing by removing the rows, the blank rows we have there. So let's remove them. So click here, I think is this, delete row. Do the same thing, come over here, delete row, and the same thing here, come over here, delete row. So save. So I think it's better now. Okay, now so right now let's add one more question. So I want to show you how to use these icons you see here. You can see the bold here stands for which to make your text bold. The B you see there. So let's just say what's your name, so you can come over here, you can make any of this bold. I think this is self bold. You can see italics. So this other symbol you see here is to enable you to strike through a text. You can strike through a text, extract through, or you don't want to, you understand. So this is the, you want to increase your font size. Let's make this back to normal, bold. So to increase your font size, you can come here and pick the font you want, and you can see the font gets big. So I want to just show you how this works. Okay, you can start to give your text color, whichever color of your choice you want. It works just like that, understand? So no color. So that's that. Okay, let's assume you want to highlight some part of your question or of your text. You can just pick the part you want to highlight, come over here, you can see it says highlight, click on it, it's going to highlight that text for you. You can see it has been highlighted, you understand? So that's just it. Now what we have, these are the simplest. This helps to like align our text. Okay, if you want to align the center, click on the center icon. If you want to align to the right, you can see how it works. That is it. I think this one you see here is to add some bullet signs, like bullets. You can see now to add bullet signs to your questions, but I don't think we need that. And it's gone. You see, so okay, now so we have these mathematical formulas here. You could write in some mathematical states, some mathematical expressions here. So I'll show you how to do that now. So let's assume your question has something like this. Click on it. So now, okay, once you are there, so let's say I want to say 1 over 2, 1 divided. Now you can see how it's looking. So click on it first. The box comes in. Let's want to say 1 over 2 plus 3 over 4. That might be a question, right? So just come over here and say 1, then put in the division sign. It drops down over 2. So you come out of it and add your plus symbol, and then click on that again. Then you come over here, let's say 3, then you put in the divide symbol over 4. So you can see now, you can then come out here and say solve. Understand? Solve this. Then you put in your various options, right? So you can put in your options in the same format as we have here. You can come over here, let's just say, click this again. Let's say 5 over 4, and then over 4. You can come over here, put in something else again. Make sure you select this to make it look like this. Select this formula icon. You can say 1 over 2. Understand? So that's how we do this thing. So you can just come here and let's add. So that's it now. So let's see how it looks like. So you can play around with this. So right now, let's explore the software more. So let's add one more question. So right now I want to add an image as a question. So I can just simply say, what part is labeled A? Understand? So now let's add an image. Come over here, click on this image icon. So you can simply import an image to that section there. So let's scroll gently. Okay, I'm just going to go pick this now. Click on open and then click on insert. So you can see now it says what part is labeled A. Understand? So let's just say right now this is the Instagram icon. So you can put in the options. Instagram. We have the Spotify. We have Instagram. You can say Spotify. We have what else we have there? Washington. So you can put in, let's just say Facebook, Firefox, and what else do we have? We also have the Pinterest. Okay, so now right now you can see we also add an image that says what part is labeled. You can pick whichever one of them you want to be the answer, and then click on save, right? So you can edit this image to be as big as you want it to be, or you can reduce it to be as small as you want it to be. Understand? So let's save and see how it looks like. Close this. So you can see you have the question here. This is an image. So what part is labeled A? So you can see the question and the option. So let's go back. Let's add one more question and see. Okay, now we can also add a code snippet. You can add a code snippet. Click on this code. Click on your drop down. We can add a code snippet to our field. So right, I'm going to simply add a simple Python function. So I'm just say def. First of all, I can simply just come here and say. So right now we can add a code snippet. So let's do that right away. So I can just come here and say, what is the output of this function? What is the output? What is the output of this function? So these are a simple. I'm going to write a simple Python function here. So just come down here. Click over to the code block. Click on code block. So we have a space for code. You can just come here. I'm going to say add. This is a simple function in Python. Sorry if you don't understand. Okay, right now just added a simple code block here. Understand? So I have to pause the video and add this one. Also, so we're going to save time. So we have this now. So it says what's the output of this function. So I'm going to right now we have a code snippet here. You can see we have a code snippet. You can put in, as I said, I wrote my text first, then put in the enter you get, and then came over here and pick code block. You understand? So you can set to put in your answers. You understand? Put in your options there. You can say 12. You can say 10, you can say 9, 8, 7, and then picking your correct answer, and then you click on save, and let's see how it looks like. You can see now it's having this looking like a code, right? Looking like a real code. It's not having the same format as this normal text you get. So that's that now. So we need to add questions. So right now I want to introduce you to what we call question groups. So now I'm going to explain to you how question groups work. So let's go down to the question groups tab, click on it. So we're on this tab currently. So right now let's assume you want your student to answer from question 5 to 10 using a particular expression. You want them to answer you want them to answer a group of questions using a particular image or a particular expression. So I'll show you how it works now. So let's add this question now. Okay, so let's add this question. So I'm going to use a table. So let's do that. I'm going to simply add a table of values right now. So okay, click on table now. So we have this table now. So I don't want the first row. So click on it and come over here and say delete row. It's gone. Okay, now so I'll simply say f of x. Okay, you can come here and put in an actual mathematical statement, f of x, and then come down here and say frequency. So let's do this. So I think sorry, this should be x alone. Okay, this should be frequency. So come over here. Okay, now so I can just come here and say 2. I want to add as much columns as I can. So columns, insert column, after insert column. I think this is okay. So I'll say 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come over here and say 3, 4, 6, 7. So this right now I'm just simply trying to form a table of values whereby students can find the mean, the mode, the median. You can find the mean, median, mode of this question. So this right now we have this particular expression. So let me just align this center. So the center now. Let's see this center 9. So now we have this. Right now we have this expression. So this expression, students can be able to answer from, let's say, question 7 to 10. Question 7, you can tell them to find the mean. Question 8 can ask them to find the mode, the median, the range. You understand? So we have saved this. So right now we have saved this. So save this now. So it has been saved. Okay, it has been saved. You can see it here now. So right now I want to add questions under this particular instruction. This is an instruction, right? I want to add some questions. So come over here and say, okay, find the mean from the table. Find the mean from the table above. From the table. What's the mean from the table above? You can say, what's the mean? What is the mean from the table above? You can just put in the mean. I'm putting some random values now. So let's just say 9, 5. So picking your answer. So just save. So let's see now. So now this is a particular question. Now this is a particular question under this instruction. So I can add more questions. So I'm going to add another question now. Say what's the mode? What is the mode? What is the mode from the table above? So you can just come here 6. I'm adding random values there. It's not the answer. So save. So let's see. I think I saved that. You can see now we have this. Now you can see we have this question under this instruction. What's the mean? We also have what is the mode. You can come down here and also add what the median is. So I think I added this twice. You can say what is the median. You can come here and put your answers. Make sure you tick your correct answer. You can see now, right now we have 3 questions. Right now we have a question group consisting of 3 questions under this particular instruction. Hope you understood. So now we have all these questions right here. So I'm going to say go down to questions. Let's see. go down to your, we have this under our questions. We also have our question groups. So you can see now, I hope you understood what I just did now. You get, so it's more right. You could add an image right now. I can add, let's add another question group right now. I added a table whereby students can answer a group of questions using this particular table. So I could add an image instead. So let's add an image. It could be an image, you get. So let's add this image. Okay, it could be this image. So open. So insert. So other than that, right now we have an instruction. So we save this. So once it's saved, so you can come over here and add questions. Come over here now, and we can start adding questions for this particular image, right? You can just come here and say, what part is labeled A? What part is labeled A? So you can say before view. So I already have my question and the options, so click on save. So I think that's done now. So we have two question groups, this first instruction and the set of questions underneath it. So if you're able to scroll down, you should see you should see you get. So you can see for this one, for the first question group, we have 3 questions under it, 3 questions you get. So over here now, under the second question we only have 1 question under it, you get. So that is how it works. You can edit the image, you can make it to be as big as you want. You can, let's see, save. Perfect. You can see now under this question group, you can see the question we have. You only have 1 question, so you can add as much questions as you want. For the first one, this is the first question group. This is the table, and we have 3 questions under it. You get. So all these questions are going to see come back here and add up to the ones we have under the question tab here. Hope you get. So that's that now. So that's that. So okay, before we can, so you can see we have this export. We can see now we set 25 questions and we currently just have 6 questions here, so we need to add up to 25, you get. So the settings here, you can come here and delete an exam. If you want to delete an exam, you can delete an exam over here. We are not doing that. My course, so go down to my course. So under this my course now, we set some exams, we have set some questions under this English language. You click on it, go again in. Right now we have the questions, we have the question group, you get. So go back to my course now. So if you come here, come back to settings. Once you delete this, everything we've done will be wiped out, you understand? So be careful not to delete. This is danger zone. So go back to my course. So once you come over here and you come here, everything we've done will be cleared off, you get. So be careful before deleting. Think well, so you don't have to redo what you've done before. Okay, so right now we are done setting our questions, we are done setting our question groups. So I want to show you something I talked about earlier. So click on the settings tab. So you can see we have this question count. So what this represents is this. It represents the number of questions a student is meant to answer. Remember, during the exam, you might set 20 questions for each student to answer. That's what your question count represents. You understand? So for each student, they are meant to answer 20 questions. So as a lecturer setting your questions, you are meant to set more questions than your question count. Let's assume you put in 20 in the question count. You are meant to set at least 21 questions. It must be more than your question count. So the system can easily reshuffle and get random questions for different students. Hope you understood. So if your question count is 10, make sure you are setting more than 10 questions. Hope you understood. So that's that. So if you have less questions than your question count, you can't export the questions you've made. You can't export this exam you just created. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So go down now. So these are my questions. So click on export. Remember, click on export. So now you can see the notes. You can see we have a note that says, so the note says total questions in exam must not be less than questions per student. You understand? That's to say that if you set your question count to be 10, you are meant to set more than 10 questions. And it gave you a reason. It said there should be more questions in exam pool than the number each student is required to answer. You can see here right now, students are meant to answer, are meant to be given 3 questions each. So for every student, they are meant to answer 3 questions. So you can see total number of questions I set is 4. So you are meant to set more than the number you set in your question count. If it is less than, you won't be able to export this exam. You understand? You need to export this exam. This exam needs to be exported before you can say you are completely done what you are doing here. So just abide by this instruction. You understand? So right now I'm going to export this exam. So once I export the exam, I'm going to have the file, because you need to submit this file to your coordinator. You understand? This file needs to be submitted to your coordinator. You get? So you need to export the exam. So I'm going to click on export. Let's export right now. So it's going to bring up a pop-up window on my screen. So it should be coming up. So right now I have this pop-up window on my screen, and this file has an extension called .cbtq. That's the extension of this file. So you can give your file whatever name you like. Instead, so I'm going to call my cxc underscore cbt. Instead, so right now that was a cxc exam there. So cxc underscore cbt. So you can choose to save your file in any directory. So on default, it's saved to the document directory. So you can decide to save in your desktop, in your download, whichever choice you want. So I'm going to save mine right now. Oh, I already have a file with that name, so I already did some testing before this video. So let me change the name. Let's say new cxc and then save. It has been saved in my document directory, so I'm going to find that file right now. So let's find the file. So let's make this big. So I'll search for it. It's called new. So you can see the file over here, new cxc underscore cbt. You understand? So make sure you have this file, because you need to submit this file to your coordinator. You make an exam, you need to export the exam. So once you export the exam, you're going to have the exam in a file ending with a .cbtq extension. You get? So you have to have those files handy, because you are going to hand those files over to the course coordinator. So let's assume you made an exam for CXC. So you need to have your CXC file ready, because your course coordinator is going to ask for that file. So as a course coordinator on the software, so your job now is to import these exams created by the lecturers. Understand? So this is where you do it. So I'm going to come back to the beginning again. So on my courses, so I'm starting afresh now. So come down to the course now. This is the course, and this is the exam. So open the exam. So we have this button here. So on the right side, we have these 3 dots, this ellipsis on the right hand side. So click on it, and you see this option of import file. So as a coordinator, you are meant to import the exam files created by the lecturers. Instead, I'm meant to import it. So let's assume we have 5 lecturers for CXC course. So as a coordinator, you are meant to import the files created by each lecturers in this session. So those files are going to set up the questions the students are going to answer. Hope you understood. You get? So that is how it works. So you click over here. So you click here. So you go down to where you save the file. As a coordinator, wherever you've stored these exam files, go there, and then you can start importing this file. So I'm going to find one of mine here. So I have some of them here. This is test. If I click open, I have the file over here. Then I can click on import. It's going to import that file there. You get? So, or you can drag and drop. So I'll show you the feature. I think the drag and drop feature is easier. So just come over here, wherever you have saved this file, right? Go down there. So I have mine here, because I have 3 of the files here. So I just come here, drag one of them, drag it into the system, you place it here, leave it, it's going to be there. So you can click on import. You get? So that is how you do that. That is how you import files as a coordinator. So that was it for this video. So in the next video, we are going to explore more features on this editor, but for now we are stopping here. So see you in the next video.